Hi Aries, welcome to your April 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. And so there's a lot of planets, a lot of activity in your sun sign in the month of April. That's not really unusual for personal planets, but we also have Chiron in Aries as well. But it is not always the case that the new moon happens to be in April. Sometimes it's in late March. So, as the month begins, the sun is in your sign, and you probably feel like you're much more of yourself, maybe than you were a month ago. When you had the sun in the 12th house, you might have just felt physically less energetic and emotionally a lot more contemplative, and now you're raring to go. And Mars is in a compatible sign, and that's, of course, your ruler. As the month begins, Mars is in Gemini, and Gemini is your third house, so it's very mental in the sense of what the third house represents. So there can be a lot of debates, maybe a lot of kind of like that's how you like to do it, especially if you have Mercury in Aries. You can be in your chart. You can be quite aggressive with your speech and enjoy and competitive and enjoy like winning an argument. So you have to maybe watch for argumentative tendencies with Mars in the third house, also with arguing with family members, specifically brothers and sisters, cousins, aunts and uncles. Third house can also be neighbors and having some kind of a beef with them. But on the other hand, this can be more activity in your local area, more civic participation for some reason. And so as the month begins, we have on the 3rd, Mercury going into your sign. And this, I think sometimes that we don't talk enough about how that can affect people. I think that's really quite good, because when Mercury is in the same sign as your sun, or if this is for your rising sign, this forecast, and it's in your first house, it's really aligning with what you're trying to promote. So you can create a message of who you are. You can convey who you are better when that is occurring. And the reason that is important is that when you're looking for a job, or if you have your own business, when you're trying to sell your product or sell yourself, a lot of times that's what promoting your business is really about, is selling yourself. It's a lot easier to convey who you really are when you have that alignment between Mercury and your sun or your rising sign. On the 11th, and also the same would apply if you're looking for love too, because you can really communicate who you are, so that the other person can see if the two of you are compatible and that kind of thing. It just, in my mind, I just thought of like, it's like being on the same page with yourself. On the 11th, there's a new moon in your sign, 22 degrees. That's also important, the degree number, because in numerology, 22 is a master number. This is the master builder number. So it's also interesting that the date is the 11th. At least in my time zone, it's going to be the 11th. And that's also a master number. So this is in your first house, and this is truly the beginning. Even if this is your rising sign, or you could even say, especially if this is your rising sign. Now, technically, if you're like 23 to 29 degrees rising, and this would be your 12th house, but most of you, even the rising sign, this will be in your first house, and that's starting a whole new cycle. So what it is that you want to accomplish in the next 12 months. Think about these things. It doesn't have to be some kind of a major thing. It just is about living life intentionally. Aries is a cardinal sign, so it's very active. And people who have the sun or even the rising sign in Aries tend to be quite active or physical, and they have a lot of energy to spare. On the 14th, Venus goes into Taurus. So what that means is that for the first half of the month, Venus is in your sign. So that's another planet, another personal planet that is in your sign. And Venus, so for half of the month when Venus is in Aries in your first house, this is very good for attracting good things to you. And with Mercury also there, it can be that what you say has an appealing effect on people, and they, well, even if it's not in conjunction with Mercury, just being in the same house, I think that it can make you all around very charismatic and attract good things to you. And then Venus is going into its own house, which is the second house. And so that can be great for attracting money specifically. It's kind of like an enhanced money magnet placement. And it's also good for your self-esteem, for feeling good about yourself. So far, so good, right? On the 19th, two things are happening. Mercury is going into Taurus. So you have Mercury going into that money house, and you have the sun going there as well. So now you have like this party. You have three personal planets in that house. Also, it's important to note, Aries, that Uranus is in Taurus. So you've got like a lot going on in that second house. And Uranus in the second house can even be like a sudden windfall. Now, you could look at the glass half empty, and I know a lot of Aries people don't, and say, oh, well, that could be a sudden loss. But with Venus here, and Venus being this planet associated with money, it would be good to look at the date, and maybe I will do just that, when Venus aligns with Uranus, because that could even be like a windfall that was kind of a surprising thing. I don't know about winning the lottery, although anything that is surprising and sudden, but I think the area of speculation is the fifth house. So I don't know if that would be it, but anything that is, you hitting the jackpot, figuratively speaking. So let's see. There'll be an exact conjunction on April 23rd at 10 degrees of Taurus. So just keep that in mind. That could be very like a pleasant surprise when it comes to finances. All right. And Mercury here can be, just thinking about your money, crunching the numbers, maybe, coming up with some kind of a financial plan, budget, what have you. On the 23rd, Mars goes into Cancer. Your ruler goes into Cancer. This is another cardinal sign, so we're talking about the fourth house. So just like I said about be careful of arguing with family, like brothers and sisters, the fourth house can be parents. Like some people say the fourth house is the mother, some say it's the father. I'll just say the parents in general. Also, there can be some kind of construction work being done on a house. So maybe if you're fighting with neighbors and you're telling them, look, I'm going to be building a deck and there's going to be some noise, and they're saying, wait, I want to, we don't want to hear that. And then you're like, typical Aries, tough shite. And then you start building or whatever, start working on it. What else? What else is fourth house? Just, it might be like some very vigorous spring cleaning that you're doing. Maybe just getting everything sorted out in a sense and doing a lot of that kind of thing. Mars can be anything that has like a lot of energy attached to it. So if you're in the real estate arena, then that could be like maybe you're doing a lot more selling in this month where you have a lot more activity going up. And that wouldn't be surprising given that, the market maybe when spring hits, that's when a lot of people are looking to buy and sell. I don't know. Have no clue about that area. And, if you are, what's that term where they say you're having baby, like you want a baby, there's like some term, I can't think of it. But if you are thinking of that, you might be trying to have a baby. The fifth house is more about conceiving children, but I could see that even with the fourth house of, being very, aggressive in trying to conceive a child or something like that. On the 26th, we have a full moon at 7 degrees of Scorpio. This is in the 8th house. For some people, later degree, sun and rising Aries, this will actually be in your 7th house of committed partnership. And there could be secrets coming out. Maybe even deciding to commit because you realize that this person is who you want to spend the rest of your life with. It could be romantic. For the rest of you, especially like earlier degree, I'm talking especially, this full moon in the 8th house can be a revelation. There can definitely be secrets coming out from the 8th house, but it's really about understanding the shadow. One thing to note too is that if you have a family member, especially a parent, who is about to pass, the Mars energy could be like even though the 8th house is like a will, it could be like a will because it can be other people's money. There can be something along the lines with this that you're fighting over a house. Maybe it's the family home. People have different decisions. Some people want to sell it. Some people want to keep it. But the full moon in the 8th house, the 8th house is the house of death. Now, I don't like to say, okay, you're going to have somebody, close to you die. I think that something else is already going on. Perhaps this is already a death that has occurred, and the full moon can be about this will, and that it's finally coming to light. It's finally coming. It's the fight is ending with it. I mean, that could be what is happening. So that is going on. That could be like a dramatic end to the month. Well, I mean, there still are a few more days after that. But even on a personal level, this can be about letting go of a bad habit, letting go of an obsession of yours, Aries. If maybe this is a relationship that you have tried to end and you go back and forth, and this is your ability to finally walk away from it. This is owning your shadow, making peace with it, seeing it for what it is, and being okay with it. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. I have all kinds of readings, including double readings at a special price, like deep dive natal chart interpretations with transits and that sort of good stuff. So, and combination tarot and natal chart interpretations, full length readings. So just check it out at the link below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.